Alright, so again, in the long run of me trying to record videos and not everything working out, and plus I keep getting more recommended YouTube notifications, and it's like I use sometimes I like quoting Silvio from The Sopranos. Just when I thought I was out, they pull me back in. In fact, I'm actually before I start today's video, let's see. They pull me back in me. Yeah. Technically, I think that was a line from Godfather 3. But, let's see, hold on. Silvio. This is essentially me. I'm essentially. I know that technically the line came. Here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Right here. Just when I thought I was out, they pull me back in, and now I'm remembering from Sopranos. This is I think this is back when Pussy Bop and Sarah was in season 2. Sal Bop and Sarah when Pussy was still in there. Technically, the line came from Godfather Part 3, but they pull me back in. It's like YouTube. Just when I thought I was out, they pull me back in. This is me essentially. I am essentially Silvio when I think you know, man, like, but anyway, going off topic, let's go back to the topic. WandaVision. And CinemaWins has been doing this where he's been going essentially through the entire series of WandaVision and analyzing what's great about them, but he's doing it through 3 episodes because there's like 9 episodes. And just so everyone, I'm pretty sure I haven't stated it enough. I really did enjoy WandaVision. I saw it twice on Disney Plus. And I saw it once, when it was coming out weekly, and then I decided to rewatch it and like get it all in one sitting, and it was really great. I know some people were really disappointed. Some people, I don't get why they're disappointed with everything nowadays, but I don't know. I'm gonna talk about it later on, anyways. But anyway, CinemaOnes is doing this, and I got the first 2 videos. I think the final part, the part 3, is gonna come out later this weekend. So I'm gonna revisit these and just. Is everything great about WandaVision episodes 1 through 3? Spoilers for almost the entire MCU, including all of WandaVision. Makes sense.
The Marvel logo's opening aspect ratio shrinking to the 4:3 old TV standard,
Yeah,
and pulls
I
out
still
the
have
5.1
ads.
surround sound and condenses it to mono with all its tinny glory. All that to say, WandaVision style opening credits. But also, the logo has been updated with Ragnarok, Infinity War, and Endgame footage, the most poignant to me being the Iron Man change. We used to have Tony using his hand repulsor blast for the first time with his freshly painted suit in Iron Man 1, and it's the moment he realizes he created a weapon and not just a flight suit. Remember this conversation?
I thought you said you were done making weapons.
It is. This is a flight stabilizer. It's completely broken.
Anyway, it's been swapped for his final act with that same hand when he snaps using the ultimate weapon to save humanity. My, how far we've come. Yes, those are movies, and this is a WandaVision video. Why are you confused? You like it? I'll do more. It's that simple. We can look at this one of 2 ways. We're actually experiencing the show with Darcy as she tunes in, or this is how Wanda experiences the Hex, partially as an out-of-body experience, which makes sense since it's one humongous magical coping mechanism. And the area code on the house they steal is for New Jersey.
Yeah, that is true. 732 is the what is it? How you say it?
And
the area code is 732 for New Jersey.
The area code on the house.
I've noticed it. I think I remember. I think Last Action Hero pointed it out one time that 555 is usually the general fixed number for like every movie and TV show, which it's kind of funny right there. Delete some stuff here as well. So yeah, that's interesting right there. So yeah, because every number in movies and TV generally has the 555 thing there.
They steal is for New Jersey, so Area code aficionados knew where we were 3 episodes before non-area code aficionados. Also, the song is on the nose with exactly what Wanda wants, just to be regular with Vision. Her title sequence is her own backstory to explain why they're there, poking fun at the goofs and lacking continuity of mid-century sitcoms by having Vision immediately break the internal law they just established. But an even more fun way to look at it is that they're adapting to their new environment, especially since Vision was literally just created here a few moments ago, and Wanda gets to show off her own magic. Even the effects are practical, exactly like they would have been in the 60s. You can almost see the strings attached to the towel.
I love those practical effects.
Get it? Because aliens exist and some kill him.
My husband and his indestructible head.
And Elizabeth Olsen was born to play the consummate 50s, 60s housewife. That
That's everyone's
did
dream, is to
destroy
be
a
married
robot's
to
indestructible head, but
Elizabeth.
especially this. And speaking of perfect casts, I think Paul Bettany said all that needs to be said about any Dick Van Dyke reboots.
What was the question again?
Perhaps an
Great significance.
to us both.
Naturally.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Exactly.
Never reboot the Dick Van Dyke Show.
Love. I know episode 2 is much more directly Bewitched, but these twinkles are right out of the Bewitched intro, and to be honest, I just spent a lot more time watching Bewitched and I Dream of Jeannie on Nick at Night.
Hello, dear. I'm Agnes, your
I spent
neighbor
a lot
to the
of time.
right.
Comic readers knew exactly who this was, Agatha
Agatha
Harkness. Also, she name drops a 90s show about witches.
Charmed.
And it's the role Catherine Hahn was born to play, which was actually an amazing way to hide her secret because she's just so dang perfect.
So,
I know,
what's
she's
your
Catherine
name? Where are you
Hahn.
from? And most importantly, how's your bridge game, hun?
Nosy Neighbor is the ideal cover for an evil witch trying to figure out who's witching better than her.
An anniversary then?
Yes.
Everything about this is so Laura Petrie. By the way, fun fact, Mary Tyler Moore was 25 when she started on the Dick Van Dyke Show, which blew my mind. Dick was 36, which sounds like a huge gap until you learn that Lizzie was...
Yeah. Technically, Elizabeth Olsen is, like, younger than Paul Bettany. But hey, I've seen weirder things before.
31 and Paul was 49, so I guess they kept that going. But the way they capture the cadence and joke structure from the 60s is impeccable.
The only way Ralph would remember our anniversary is if there was a beer named June 2nd. What Ralph could really use is how to goose your wife so you don't lose your wife.
Even the awkwardness.
Would you be so good as to tell me what it is we do here?
Poking
Make
fun
money.
at the office job work of early sitcoms, but blending it with the idea that Vision has no clue how he came to be in this universe. Heart shadowing.
Oh yes, the heart.
You got a screw loose?
Oh, no, sir. The screws all tightened, sir.
You're like a walking computer.
What? I most
I think my
certainly am
lunch is
not.
ready.
The not a robot joke per word count in this show alone is
Very
through the roof.
quickly.
Those skeletons in your closet, eh, Vision?
I don't have a skeleton, sir.
Also not his closet. Even Wanda's brain commercials reference her real TV life with a chicken and a lobster on the wall.
Chicken a la king with lobster thermidor,
Batman's favorite, and maybe mint jellies in the wallpaper?
steak Diane, and mint jellies for your maid.
And obviously Howard Stark making toasters rather than missiles. And listen, the toaster even makes the repulsor warming up sound when the lever is pulled down. And
I
the red
remember
light
that. That
blinking
was a
must
pretty
be
good sound
Wanda's
of that.
subconscious remembering the missile landing in her house.
Forget the past. This is your future.
She's trying. Are you paying attention? What do you think this is? Oh, right. That's your point.
We don't break bread with bullshit.
Is your husband tired of you burning his toast?
Some casual mid-century misogyny and a little Cold War Red Scare for good measure. Just saying,
Yeah.
the time period right. Another practical jump cut dress change.
Yeah, that is
dense,
great.
aren't
I
you?
love that.
My wife once made me
Camera
so
cut
dense I fell
detail.
through the floor.
Shall I just preheat the oven then, dear?
That won't be necessary.
Oh.
Agnes again secretly trying to figure out what's going on, which is funny when you consider that she's just playing along as a mix of the Ethel Mertz and Gladys Kravitz of Wanda's show.
Well, I know you're in a pinch, so this menu can be done in a snap.
Come on, nothing can be done in a snap. Or at least half of nothing.
You ain't gonna rock and roll no more.
Yeah, don't talk back.
Amazing moves from Kitty and amazing vocals from the Darren Robot. A
Yeah,
woman
Deborah
intimately
Jo Rupp.
familiar with the repercussions of turning back time, which, even funny gags are actually trauma coming out. Again, as the show gets to later, pure shenanigans. Of course, Wanda could just drop the lobster in with her hands, but then we wouldn't get her magicking them out the window. Using those seduction techniques well.
Stumble when you walk into a room, so he can catch you. Oh, hi.
So, she must immediately recognize the dead Avenger, right? That in mind,
I'm surprised they did not go with the Jehovah's Witness joke where it's like, who was that? Although I'm pretty sure a Jehovah's Witness joke is not common, like, knock the door. Hi, I'm a Jehovah's Witness here to spread the good news of Jesus Christ. It slams the door. I don't really think that played. I gotta figure out if there were Jehovah Witness jokes in the 50s. I might look it up while the video's playing.
She holds it together pretty well.
Why don't you have children yet?
I think what my wife means to say is that
What she means to say is don't ever, under any circumstances, ask another human that question. There is no good reason to ask because the answer could be anything from we hate children to we can't have children, and everything in between, none of the answers being any of our business. Lessons learned from the 60s. Sexism, McCarthyism, and procreationism.
Yes, what exactly is your story?
Lots of people asking that very question after this episode aired, some just as angry. And that leads to two breaks from Wanda's reality. The first is Mr. Hart getting so angry, which is interesting when you think about it because that's the one dimension of his character. He's angry, so he's able to let a little of himself through and channel that question
Why? Why did you...
through his character, whereas Mrs. Hart has to continue to be
I
the
looked it up
upbeat
there or
wife, so
something.
even though she
Yeah.
actually turns to Wanda, begging her to make her actual husband stop choking, she still has to do it with Georgina's cheery disposition.
Stop it. Stop it.
And it's also the only time we break from the multi-camera setup and do some almost Twilight Zone-like push-ins
Yeah,
that are a
that's
little
pretty
too close
awesome.
for sitcoms.
Vision, help him.
And
Yeah,
Biz is a
sitcoms
part of
meets
that
the
too,
Twilight
since
Zone.
he's new and is essentially trying to learn and follow the rules of Wanda's world, so he doesn't know what he's allowed to do or even what his role is yet. And I'm always down for a good Neoing, by the way, in effect, not done practically, for practical reasons.
This guest is leaving your home.
And as is normal with all sitcoms, it's wrapped up nice and neat by the end,
That
even
is
though the night
true.
was a complete disaster. It's a happy suburbia middle management ending.
We'll see about that promotion, huh?
One last practical effect where you can
jump
even see
cut.
their fingers
That was some
jolt
really good
inward to the
practical
jump cut
effects.
insert, so we know we're still in Wanda's world.
I thought I was trying to pretend
And
this
they're
is
inside the hexagon.
Hexagon.
Woohoo, that mystery. Was she being trapped in there by this person? Nah, it's just Darcy, the most likable character in all of the MCU. Don't have me. I haven't thought
Yeah.
about that much, but it's true.
She is such a likable character. Darcy is such a likable character. I will say it. She was easily, really fun. She was really funny in Thor 1, and also Thor: The Dark World. She was also funny. I don't remember who said she was kind of like a certain character from Star Wars, but I would probably punch that guy in the face. I'm kidding. I don't really condone violence, but I would hope God punishes him. I just hope that his underwear shrinks. That's the. But I'm glad they fixed Darcy's character up. I will say one of the better parts of Thor: The Dark World. The only better part was like when everyone's like, "What? You? Mjolnir passes by. Mew mew. Mew mew."
Also have loved the closing credits music from the beginning, makes everything you just witnessed even more eerie. Now that we're to the second episode, the Marvel logo is back to color in full aspect ratio, and we get to see Black Panther's Purple Blast.
Oh.
The funniest part about the canned laughter is that it wasn't canned for the first episode. They actually had a
Yeah.
studio audience.
They actually did that for real.
And then I change.
But
Yeah.
now that the audience is laughing solely at the light turning on and off with a bewitched sound effect, we're probably back to canned.
Yeah, like
Scandalous.
the laugh track.
Or as Wanda would say.
Now that's romantic.
But fun history fact, the Hays Code prevented couples from sharing a bed on TV. And although the first couple to share a bed on TV was on Mary Kay and Johnny in 1947, they were
They were married in real life.
Samantha and Darren were
That is true. They were the first non in real life couple because tell you what, the FCC rules are pretty strange. I don't know if the FCC was known as the Hays Code, but yeah.
the first non-IRL married couple to do it.
get the light.
But
Not
now we
really.
know why she's 4 months pregnant in a decade. Even the internal references are non-stop.
Yeah, this is the
heart on
Bewitched
calendar was
intro
just about
that I
Mr.
liked.
Hart coming for dinner, right? Well, Vision also drew one on their deed.
Oh,
Make
now I
it, steal it,
remember.
imprison it, same deal. Who's that, Magneto? Wanda's dad buried in the floor somewhere between the cask of
No.
Amontillado and the Telltale Heart.
really.
Oh, it's just a fun grim
Not really. Given how, we still haven't been introduced to the X-Men or mutants yet, so. And given how that we've actually see Wanda's parents literally in the show later on, I don't think Magneto. Technically, her parents are named Oleg and Irina Maximoff, so. And yeah, I don't know if I don't remember any other Magneto other than Eric Lenscher, so. But I get the joke reference there, so yeah.
Reaper nod with no further meaning at all, except that he was in a comic with Vision. That would be ridiculous if Disney teased something about Wanda's family that was actually a bait and switch.
Oh,
Monica Rambeau even.
yeah. Oh, that got so much stuff there with the whole expectation subversion. But yeah.
Made it into the animated intro. Very much appreciate the entire town dancing along to the theme song they can't hear. Oh my gosh, are they all experiencing this as cartoons with the song playing in their head? Dark, Wanda. Dark.
Plus, it's our chance to appear as normal as possible while doing so.
Well, I don't think that should be a problem.
This is our home now. I want us to fit in.
I enjoy how sharply the edges of the TV talk and reality talk are defined. Wanda gets a little serious after Vision's jokey jokes, and she really does want them to be able to stay there. And after he drops another joke, you can see her face transform back into sitcom Wanda.
Westview Veteraners.
I'll see you at curtain call.
And I'll talk about
she
this
does
as we keep going.
I realized that sometimes like Wanda here, she's doing. I don't know if I noticed the Samantha
Another
nose
joke, you
crunch,
can see her face transform back into sitcom Wanda.
Westview Veteraners.
Almost. She almost does the same thing that Samantha did with the. Yeah. But
I'll see you at curtain call.
And
I
I'll
like
talk
this
about this
episode
as
a
we
little
keep
better than
going
episode
forward,
1
but the
because
show
it's
is
very
about grief.
bewitched.
And if you're paying attention, you'll notice that Wanda goes through all five stages throughout the show. We are in denial right now, where she's pretending like this is all normal because it's easier than dealing with her grief. Her snapback to TV reality is a perfect example. Interesting that Iron Man's colors are the first to make it into Wanda's fantasy. Or, you know, perfect.
Look, it's the star of the show.
Oh, Agatha, always saying a thing that could mean another thing.
Oh, I brought my pet rabbit for your magic act.
Is Catherine Hahn always a win?
Yes, Catherine Hahn is always a win. Catherine Hahn is such a talented actress. Very funny and also really attractive. Yeah. Everyone loves Catherine Hahn. I remember the Honest trailer saying that Agatha was spoilers for WandaVision anyway if you haven't seen it, but I like that they it's like Catherine Hahn looked at Cruella de Vil and was like, yeah, let's just do Cruella de Vil, which is I like that they went with the Cruella de Vil vibe later on for Agatha, which is kind of funny, but it's like we all love Catherine Hahn, so we don't care what role she plays. She's going to be the best part of it. Yeah.
Yes, I think she is. The only movie I think I've done is Spider-Verse, and she was really one of my favorite parts of that movie, so yeah. Catherine Hahn is always a win. That feels good. Feels right.
Can I give you a bit of friendly advice?
Is it about the way I'm dressed?
Yes, but it's too late for that.
Which checks out since Wanda's Mary Tyler Moore Caprice got her inspiration in just as much trouble, although it worked out in the end.
Or maybe I could just
Mary
be
Tyler
myself.
Moore was the first one to wear pants. If I'm not mistaken.
Another double-edged joke since women absolutely had to play the role in 50s and 60s TV, and also Agatha knows, at the very least, that Wanda's self wouldn't really jive with 60s Westview.
The devil's in the details, Bev.
That's not the only place he is.
Is it your bunny? Is Mephisto supposed to be your bunny? Oh, she's just being mean about Dottie and becoming an alcoholic from boredom.
How is anybody doing this sober?
But knowing now who Agnes really is, I sort of expect her to look at the camera and say, "Why are you laughing? I'm dead serious."
I'm actually glad they didn't say that.
Westonford, Gloucesterview.
I actually don't know what I'm doing here.
Honesty.
Could you tell me how often you rotate security patrols? Do you interface directly with local law enforcement?
An Avenger would know the right questions to ask, even if he barely remembers and is essentially a newborn baby.
You know those bowling trophies Arthur's always polishing? We bought them all at a yard sale in Hackensack.
This bowling trophy?
I, too, have some top secret gossip to share.
Norm is a
Norm is a
communist.
communist.
Here we are dipping back into McCarthyism. I guess the joke is that Sokovia is sort of the Soviet Union, so it's like her own fears about jingoist Americans hating her for no other reason than her Eastern European accent. Yeah, that checks out.
Did you hear the man? He doesn't eat food.
Is gum food?
Is butt legs? We'll never know. Oh man, this drawing, it brings
Oh,
me
yeah,
back to
that's
something
pretty
even
cool
I have
there,
no
the
idea what
gum.
it is. Is it Jetsons? You could tell me that Bewitched used this exact drawing style and I'd believe you without question.
But I assure you, I don't mean anyone any harm.
I don't believe you.
Yeah, 1,000
Also, I like that they went with some vintage lenses. They actually used a bunch of vintage period lenses for this, which is really cool.
year-old vengeance demons have a nose for these things. Poor Anya. I mean, honesty.
Who is that? Who are you?
Another break brought on by Wanda being distracted by voices she shouldn't be hearing, which allows Dottie to break free and questions her reality for a second. It's entirely possible that every Westview resident wakes up for that split second.
Who's doing this to you, Wanda?
grief, Jimmy. It's grief doing it to her. Since we know it's the same two Westview residents in all of these commercials, I can't help but wonder if they're just standing around in the dark waiting for their 15 seconds a day. Bleak. Oh man, was that Strucker slamming Wanda's cell door shut? Even when Vision is drunk, he still does a superhero landing recovery. I can't believe Deadpool and Vision could technically be in the same movie now. And then Wade could applaud this.
For the children.
I guess essentially ever since then, I don't know, it is like superhero landing. That's really unpractical there, by the way. Yeah. I don't know. It's like ever since Deadpool, it's like that's been a common thing with CinemaWins that it's like superhero landing. Wade would applaud. Where's the slow clap? It's like
Sandview, Westershire.
You just do it. You don't say it out loud, honey.
Apparently Jimmy was watching WandaVision religiously.
Flourish.
The entire magic act turned comedy act feels like such a plot out of Bewitched that I almost feel like it must actually be from Bewitched. The whole thing is believable. I mean, if you showed this to someone in the 60s, I don't think they would have thought twice about it. Especially this Alexis Rose shoulder shimmy.
Oh, it is.
It is what?
It's my car.
Pardon me, Herb, have it back.
Did I already say that Paul Bettany was born to play this?
yeah.
I'm doing it.
And again, done with period-accurate practical effects, which is a sign that it's all part of Wanda's story, even if it seems like she's not in control. Which will make you realize that Vision choking on the gum was also part of her script.
Is that how mirrors work? Shut up, Beth.
Honest questions. So she doesn't do the upper lip nose twitch, but Wanda's sound effects are pretty close to Samantha's.
I'm not as funny without it, am I?
Disagree.
We are so
Hilarious.
It's Wanda's deliberately hacky writing again, but slightly more believable than Mr. Hart being happy about the dinner where he almost died. My point is that this
That is true. Ever since like the 50s, 60s, a lot of the writing on sitcoms changes a lot. So, yeah.
happy ending would be a reason to stay in the 60s, whereas she left the 50s after the weird dinner. And like I was just saying, based on effects, Vision saving him from dying was not actually part of the script, so most likely neither was him choking. San West, Viewtershire.
for the children.
Viewford, Shire, West Gloucester.
Vision, this is really happening.
Yes, my love.
Paul Bettany's sincerity will scoop your heart out. By the way, is this wallpaper Strucker's Hydro base?
It is. I think it is. Damn, that's really good, production. That's some really good production value there with the artwork.
Is an Age of Ultron? Dark, Wanda. Dark. And the whole color thing is appropriate since Bewitched switched from black and white to color for the 3rd season not too long after Tabitha, Samantha's baby, was born. And ending episode 2 in another hex.
Another hex. Oh, yeah,
Have I
Partridge
praised Kristen
Family.
Anderson Lopez and Robert Lopez for these amazing Pitch Perfect title scenes.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. Kristen Anderson Lopez and Robert Lopez, who did the songs on Frozen, wrote the songs for this. And I think it's funny because Christoph Beck did some of the musical score cues for this. And he worked with the couple on Frozen. So, yeah.
Sequence songs yet. Each one captures the period expertly right down to the 70s ba-ba-ba.
Like... Sorry, I wanted to sing that song, the Partridge Family.
And you
That's
probably noticed the
the
similarities between the
Partridge
songs,
Family.
but fun fact, they all carry a variation of this same
Which must be it's funny, Ant-Man and the Wasp used the Partridge Family theme song. Twice in the movie. And it's like interesting because this is a bit of a satire and homage to tribute to sitcoms at the same time, and it's like, hey, it all comes full circle.
motif.
That is true. I can notice that.
Agnes continuing her glamorous magazine indoctrination. And we're progressing the story forward in the title sequence this time, with the crib they build later, and also taking another note from Dick on stuffed animal choice. And everyone's still in the hex. Yes. Hexes.
To be a proud papaya.
Were the 70s the era of the pun?
Well, I have no.
Must have been.
Mum's the word.
Maybe that's why I liked it so much. Crib?
I was thinking Tommy.
Then there's Billy, isn't there?
I think Wiccan or Speed are better names, but what do I know? Every pregnant woman in a sitcom for the last I don't know, century has done the Lamaze breathing technique, whether they actually go to Lamaze classes or plan on using the Lamaze labor method or not. And everyone is so concerned about communism, but they didn't realize it was the inspiration for Lamaze breathing that the Soviets were using to get into the US. Not the first.
I would say this third episode, I'm surprised they didn't meme it as like, yep, this is an accurate depiction of what childbirth is.
Time they fought back to back, more or less.
Yeah.
Yes, I know what you mean.
Oh yeah. I remembered watching this and I thought that Disney Plus had accidentally glitched. Right here.
More or less.
Right there, where you saw it blink out a little bit. If I mute the sound and I slow down the frame rate, slow down the playback speed, right there. There's a slight blackout, and then it comes back, and then I realized, oh right, maybe wait, is Wanda controlling this all? That was a really interesting detail. I guess because of it would make sense that Wanda is kind of controlling it all. Obviously she is. But I like that they add because we later see in episode 4 when Jimmy Woo is trying to contact Wanda that when Darcy sees it, it cuts off. So it's as if it all cuts off. So yeah, it would make sense given that it is Wanda actually controlling it, since this episode kind of confirms. Episode 4 confirms that it's all Wanda, but it's Wanda grieving.
Yes, I know what you mean.
So in her first edit, Wanda just...
That is true. Also, yeah, the rewind where the guy in the beekeeper suit, which is obviously a sword agent, but when he goes into the 60s, it's a beekeeper suit, and then she rewinds it as no, and yeah,
just rewound so that Vision could repeat his lines, but this time she legit rewrote his lines. This is the first big hint that he's not the real Vision.
Yeah, I never thought about that because I think we do find out that he really is not the real Vision, and that like actual Vision was destroyed and was created by Hayward, kind of a white Vision, and I'll probably talk about Hayward on the next episode, but for now let's just see here. I'm trying to think about it. I know that she rewrote the line. I gotta rewind again.
So in her first edit, Wanda just rewound so that Vision could repeat his lines, but this time she legit rewrote his lines. This is the first big hint that he's not the real Vision.
But it's more than that, isn't it? The truth is, we are in uncharted waters.
Find the goddess within.
Yeah,
I was gonna say this, because I think this whole show really showing her grieving and like some of her powers. This show is really about Wanda's transition into becoming the Scarlet Witch from the comics, which is interesting because when we first meet her, we know it's the Scarlet Witch, but they call her Wanda in Age of Ultron, Civil War, Wanda, Infinity War, Wanda, Endgame. They don't really, but she's there, Wanda's there. But this is like a show where it's Wanda's full transition into becoming the Scarlet Witch, and I remembered when the series was just getting backlash when it aired because it was like, this is nothing like the trailers, and it's like people have said they should have released it like all the episodes, and I disagree. I feel like it's just fans are impatient. That's the problem. That's probably why I don't subscribe to fandoms. Even though I am a fan of certain things, I belong to my own fandom. It's good being an independent fan. Doesn't have to rely on that. It's kind of like being a not. Even though I am not, I would not know the experience. I feel like it's why a lot of people, convert to non-denominational Christianity. Anyway, back to the video.
We used to think they made her a goddess, but now we know they just gave her witch steroids. Also love the Hydra-ish octopus logo.
But first, I gotta borrow a bucket. All the pipes in my ceiling burst at once, and I gotta bail myself out.
Water broke.
Which brings me to my question. Do y'all still keep those in your spare room?
This entire plotline is the definition of shenanigans. It
Yeah.
often feels like deliberately lazy writing to poke fun at the 70s.
It is deliberate.
What was that?
You can always hear in the audio mix when someone snaps out of it for a second.
Fancy.
And then Tiona Paris changes her voice back to fit back in.
Bermuda awaits, and my car decides to poop out right at this moment.
So it's kind of like a reverse Truman Show, just with a lot more.
That is right. Also, this feels a lot like the Truman Show, where you know, if you have not seen the Truman Show, spoilers. By the way, it's one of my all-time favorite films, the Truman Show. There's a whole thing where Truman decides to always try and leave because he wants to leave Sea Haven. But since Ed Harris is in the room calling the shots, it's like distract everyone. So it's kind of like it's almost like the Truman Show. I'm surprised, yeah, because I think I do know like the visual reference, especially the creators of the show and the filmmakers of the show have stated that you know, they were inspired by Pleasantville and, you know, to do that whole thing, which I can totally understand, like, because Deborah Jo Rupp's face where she was like, stop it, it sort of reminds me a lot of Pleasantville. Anyways, by the way, go check out Pleasantville. It's a great movie.
More unlawful imprisonment.
Yeah, like Truman Show.
to the party, but I imagine there is a logical explanation for this.
Optimism.
Well, don't you want to meet your son as yourself?
They even capture the sincere moments they used to throw into the nonstop quip fest of the 70s, but it always lands between these two.
We let the little ladies keep tabs on their growing babies with fruit. Makes it simple for them. I think you might have what it takes to be a nurse.
The only thing that's probably not era accurate is Wanda shaking her head to all the sexism.
You know,
Yeah.
so hard to escape.
Again, the audience laughter mixed with
And
the
if I don't
ominous line
see it,
delivery makes
good
my
afternoon,
skin
good
crawl.
evening,
His
and
name
good night.
is Pietro.
Pietro.
The first really big clue that Wanda is
Yeah.
actually one in control, since she
And her accent switches there for a second. I've also noticed from her, she switches from the sitcom American accent to, you know, her Sokovian accent when she says Pietro.
snaps
And
herself back to reality. Her
she
accent
sings
comes
in a
back, and Wanda the Avenger is in the room.
What did you say about Pietro? I think you should leave.
Yeah.
Husband,
There's nothing wrong with that.
no home.
And again, Agnes is just messing with everything.
That would be true. Agnes, potentially. There's always those types of manipulative characters who will manipulate anyone around them in order just to get what they want, essentially. And that's what Agatha's journey is, essentially, is to probably, you know, it's like, you know, I thought I killed all those witches. But, yeah.
She might know Monica's sword, she might not, but either way, she
Not really. I don't...
constantly wants to stir stuff up to figure out what Wanda's powers are. After 2 full episodes and 80% of this one in denial, Wanda has finally moved on to the next stage of grief, anger. We can tell she's finally angry here, and she expels Monica because she reminds her of her grief. I'm sure we all noticed Agatha's brooch that Agnes wears no matter the decade. Fun detail.
She came here because we're all
in this together, right? Oh, he means trapped.
Who are you?
Damn it, you had to make me think of High School Musical. Why'd you make me think of that? Because I did hear that song. Watch.
because we're all
In this together, right? Oh, he means trapped.
Damn it, I hear it. How dare you leave him?
Who are you?
I touched on it quickly earlier, but if you're left
Very
wondering why
Truman
Wanda
Show-esque.
even
This
bothers
definitely
jumping
takes
to the next
inspiration from
decade, other
Truman
than for our enjoyment, it's because at the end of each episode, something awful happens that makes her need to escape again. Again, that's all this is, right? It's one big escape from reality. So when Kitty starts glitching out and Mr. Hart almost chokes to death,
hold on. Right here.
That's right, it's one big escape from reality. So when Kitty
when Deborah
starts glitching out,
when she makes that, I don't know why, it reminds me so much of anything like Pleasantville or a David Lynch face. I don't know. Something like this is very scary. But of course, the end of episode 1 was very Twilight Zone-esque.
and Mr. Hart almost chokes to death, she runs to the 60s. In the 60s, after the radio and broken glass incident, she sees a beekeeper come out of the sewer and nopes all the way to the 70s, where she goes through pregnancy in 1 day and then has to boot Monica out of the hex for reminding her of Pietro's death.
Or reality.
And we'll cover the next few decades in the next episode. Love the way Wanda actually moves her hands to expand the aspect ratio.
They move that.
Appropriate song, but I like to imagine the monkey's daydream believer was the last thing Wanda put into Monica's head just to mess with her as it slowly wore off. And the credits each week are a visualization of going into a CRT TV with the red, blue, and green color blocks. And
Oh,
using
yeah.
red, Wanda's primary color, to show that
Also,
all
hold
with the
on.
red
I want to see if I can
off.
find.
And the credit last thing Wanda put.
Also, will the real villain of WandaVision please stand up? Please stand by. Every time, back when it was still airing on Disney, when it was just coming out weekly on Disney Plus, I was like, damn it, now I gotta wait for another week. Come on. I remember that a lot. I remember how much that irritated a lot. Yeah. The worst parts of WandaVision, please stand by. It should have been I remember the meme where it's like, the show's villain, the real villain, please stand by. So, yeah, I don't know, but yeah, please stand by. The worst parts of WandaVision. Everyone hates this part. So do I, honestly. I'm like, damn it. Damn you, please stand by.
Appropriate song, but I like to imagine the monkey's daydream believer was the last thing Wanda put into Monica's head just to mess with her as it slowly wore off. And the credits each week are a visualization of going into a CRT TV with the red, blue, and green color
Technically, the first 2 episodes came out on the same day.
blocks. And using red, Wanda's primary color, to show that all the creations aren't real. And each episode closes as if turning off a TV.
Yeah.
Okay, and a quick wrap up to say not a whole bunch happens in these 3 episodes for the larger story beyond what I already covered. I know some people were a little annoyed by that fact because they just had no idea where we were headed, especially after the first 2. At least.
Well, that's what I think they were going for. They were, you don't know what to expect, so they were essentially, yeah. But
Least 3 ends with Monica getting chucked out, and we learn that there at least is a real world connected to this story.
Yeah.
I'll have more conclusion-y to say on the next 3, and probably the most to say after the last 3,
No,
but I
this
could never
moment
say
was
enough
awesome.
about Elizabeth Olsen, Paul Bettany, and Kathryn Hahn. All 3 blow me out of the water in this series, the way they adapt to each role and then switch back to something more serious
Tiana
when
Paris
needed.
was also really
More of that in
great
the next
as
3
Monica
episodes.
Rambeau.
Anyway, I'm sort of flying by the seat of my pants here. The channel is called CinemaWins, and I really don't care because after 2020, the definition of cinema changed, so here we are. I genuinely hope this is
That is
something you
true.
enjoy. A lot of you have been commenting and tweeting this at me, so I figured let's give it a try. I definitely can't promise I'll do it for every show, obviously, but if this goes well, I think you can imagine the shows that would make sense. Here's to hoping, and thanks for coming with me on this slight departure from the norm. I'm gonna put a week or 2 between these for now so that non-WandaVision fans won't be disappointed. But next week, a relevant movie to another movie that's coming to streaming that I think most people hated and I haven't seen in 2 decades but remember loving. Should be fun.
Mortal Kombat. That's what the frame is. I recognize that frame.
I say, oh, I don't eat food.
Well, that explains the empty refrigerator.
I'd say you guys mostly do takeout. So yeah, those were episodes 1, 2, and 3 of WandaVision. Well, at least everything great about them. I loved where you pointed out those small little details there. In the show. And I like that they were doing a new thing there with this, and I like that they went with the sitcom vibe with it. Goes through 3 walls. Oh, the 4th wall being the hex. Damn it, Monica literally broke the 4th wall. How could I not think of that? So yeah. Actually, before we go, I want to look up Kathryn Hahn's filmography because Kathryn Hahn is always a one to see. Kathryn. Damn it. Yeah, here it is. Kathryn Hahn. Plus, my computer here is Kathryn Hahn. Alright. Let's see. Westchester. What the hell is. Filmography. Film. Let's see. Oh, yeah, she was in Anchorman: The Legend of Ron Burgundy. She was Helen, a small role in The Holiday, Last Mimsy. I remember enjoying that movie. I want to rewatch it. Step Brothers and Revolutionary Road, but more importantly, Revolutionary Road, the Sam Mendes movie. That's a really great movie. I love that one. How do you know? Our Idiot Brother, Wanderlust, Dictator. Oh yeah, We're the Millers. She was in We're the Millers and Bad Words. Oh, Walter Mitty. That was a really good movie. And also, This Is Where I Leave You. This was a really good movie as well. She's done a lot of good stuff. Also did Tomorrowland, weirdly enough. Family Fang, Bad Moms. Don't remember and yeah. But everyone loves Catherine Hahn, and apparently she's also going to be in Knives Out too. So that's great. And let's see what roles she had. I'll be there. Let's see, Funny or Die. 11 episodes of Parks and Rec. 4 episodes of Girls. Newsroom. An episode of the Newsroom. That was a really good show. Sad that there's not more. Bob's Burgers. 2 episodes of Bob's Burgers. Um, there's a show. Oh, an episode of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. What is this show? Dude, I think I heard of this show for some reason. The Romanovs. Yeah, so I'm glad that everyone. Yeah, everyone loves Catherine Hahn. That's the thing. Like, she is one of the most talented actresses ever. So yeah, I remember this is a series that she made. Yeah, with Kevin Bacon. What was the reception on this, by the way? Yeah, I loved. So yeah, um, yeah, I think I'm gonna end it here. This was everything great about WandaVision, episodes 1 through 3, episodes 1, 2, and 3. So, gonna leave a link to the original video down below. Also, leave a link to CinemaWins because I'm that nice, and link to my Instagram page. And thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I'm actually gonna go have my lunch now, so I wish you Godspeed and you know, take care.